Hello there. I'm back with some more coloring this time. No games just yet. I have completely redone the line work this time instead of just fixing up what was lost previously. In part now it looks a lot cleaner. As I just saw some areas that I might have missed. I'm gonna quickly fix that. But yeah, in general, I'm not entirely, not entirely unhappy or happy with this version. I think I liked the more, experimental or... Oh, I'm the wrong layer. I like the more rough looking line work in the previous version, but obviously I can't easily just fake that, and I don't think that would feel all that nice. Instead, I just traced most things. For comparison, this is what it looked like before that. Again, I think especially the face, it looks really nice here. I unfortunately don't now have the same, rough looking line work. This one is a lot cleaner. Which so far I'm okay with. If it turns out that I don't really enjoy that all that much, I'm gonna obviously have to redo it. Or at least I'm gonna try to not entirely redo it. I don't need to do that entire line work a third time, but I'm gonna at least try to somewhat improve it. Alright, one thing I realized was that obviously the lips, being the more shaded version, add a lot, so I added that back. The same is true for the eyes, which I haven't done yet, so I'm just gonna do that real quick. I'm currently on the eyes layer anyway, so I'm gonna quickly do almost hopefully exactly what I did last time, which was very much basically simulating what actual eyes look like. I have this radiating kind of presence. I don't know if radiating presence is the right word. They have this radiating look, the iris. So I'm just gonna try to get that in again and then move in multiple layers towards the inside to kind of also get this, 3D feel of the lens, where it kind of curves inside. I don't know if I can recreate it as nicely as it worked last time, but I'm gonna do my very best. I think there's a white layer above this, which is probably the layer white, now that I look at it, which doesn't need to go to extend just as far as it is right now. I think my eraser is currently in a bit of a weird setup. Yeah, this one's much better. Alright. Now time for a slightly darker color. I kind of want to try adding some very bright highlights at the very end. That might look really cool. But I have to see about that once it gets there. I should probably do both of them at the same time, so that I have that I can reuse the same color. Oh no! Oh no! I'm on the... Oh god! I'm on the white layer right now. That's not okay. Let's see how far I can go back. That's a long time. I didn't think I could do Control Z this much. Alright. Both eyes in screen. I'm gonna quickly steal the color from the right. And then focus on the one on the left. I think, unfortunately, due to the size of my drawing tablet, I can't have them both in screen in a, resolution that I would find nice. So I have to choose this one. I think it should extend a little bit more outside. Alright, and then I can just repeat that on the other side and it will look just peachy. Okay. I had to quickly check if my microphone was on after streaming so many times without a working microphone or without realizing that I was muted. I am a bit anxious about that. All right. Next color down. I'm still on the white layer. Fuck. I need to stop that. I guess that's fine. I am separate. Oh. Oh, the ice layer is below that. I see. What do I do here? I think if I select the whites layer, then I select the ice layer and then cut that out from the white layer. Yeah, I want to do a new layer. Oh, now I'm doing more Photoshop than I am doing drawing. How the hell do I do this again? New layer via cut. Now I have the eyes on a separate layer, and now I can merge that with the actual eye layer. Merge layers, and then I have to rename it to eyes. Again, I mentioned that last time I streamed the drawing. I'm not actually sure if those are the proper ways to do things in Photoshop, since I've kind of taught most things to myself when I needed them. It works out fine so far. Alright, now back to the other eye. Can't forget that. I thought about just copying in stuff from the other layer, but then obviously there I would have once again the more, I guess, rudimentary and more blurry aspects of the JPEG, and that would be very annoying to deal with. So I'm just gonna redo them again and deal with that here. I think I'm gonna do one more layer, and then, ooh, this looks very good already. Yeah, I think there needs to be one very dark layer really close to the... Is the inner part the iris or is the outer ring the iris? Anyway, there needs to be one more layer really close to the inner part, whichever one that is. And I think then they're good enough. Oh, and I was gonna try to add some white highlights. With those I'm really unsure because I'm not really sure where white highlights would be in the eye. White highlights. So I'm just gonna try around a little bit and see how things look from very far away. Alright, now the very last layer, the one that's just basically the fraying of the inner part. And since I did this layered approach, it kind of looks like it's converging towards the middle. And it has this kind of ring light effect, or ring-like effect. Alright, same thing here. I think for the highlights I have to do a much thinner line and then kind of try to figure out where I can position that so it looks good. Alright. Thin line, probably like what, 4 points? Really thin and no opacity. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe like, oh, now I'm below the shadow area, of course. Maybe highlighting isn't something I should do just yet. It looks a little weird. I'm just gonna skip that part. But the eyes are back, looking a lot more, I want to say plastic. I obviously don't mean plastic in the sense of the material, but more plastic and three-dimensional. I don't know if that's the correct word. Alright, let me check how it looked like before. Well, roughly. This is roughly what it looked like before. Just with a different dye color. And this is after. So yeah, I quite like this. Obviously, it's still brown. I could have gone for much nicer or much more vibrant eye color. And I guess I can still try that out. I can still go for the hue and just change the red is also nice. Oh, more lilac or pink is maybe a bit blue. I also don't like that much. Teal could look really cool. I think I'd have to see more of the rest of the face before that. Green looks great. And then obviously I have the brownish hazel color that I'm using right now. I think for now I'm fine with this brownish hazel color. Obviously when redoing the line work, some of the color kind of got messed up as well, because the color was overlying a little bit. So I'm just gonna try to fix that up real quick. I just have to figure out where, for example, this dark red, yeah, I haven't even named that red layer. Let me just name it dark red real quick. Oh, and then I can fix it up a little bit so that it works well with the rest of the colors. I think for the coloring I used a slightly larger pencil, so I'm just gonna select 30 right now, and then I can fix what was wrong here. Yeah, there's a lot of bleeding over into the other area. Luckily this is currently one of the lowest layers, so I don't have to worry about erasing other colors. Well, maybe I do. I can't erase what is behind there. Oh, that's part of the other dark red layer. What's the third one? There's just a layer down here that I cannot figure out what it belongs to. If I zoom really far, yeah, no. There's just a random layer down there. I'm gonna merge them for now. And then I'm gonna figure out what to do with them later. I also realized when I obviously zoomed out a lot, that there are a lot of empty-ish looking areas towards the top side of the head. So maybe I'll need to add more elements up there. I guess it doesn't look all that empty right now, but I'll figure that out once I get to it. I think for now I wanted at least one of the sashes to be a really nice beige. I'm kind of gonna do that right now. I'm gonna pick the color of the eye as a starting point. What would be, I don't want to go too dark. Maybe this brush is a little bit too small to deal with that, so I'm gonna make it really large for a bit, just to get a lot of area coverage. And I think the one that I want to color beige is this very big one that kind of flows over everything. I'm just gonna quickly color that, and the nice thing is after I've colored it, I have obviously then covered the area, so I can then play around with it a little bit and always recover the area with a different color, as long as I'm not then shading it and adding other effects that I then have to, I guess, go back to and also change. Yeah, I'm gonna be a bit I want to be a bit less strict about me messing up any lines. If I cover a bit too much area, that shouldn't be too much of an issue, but obviously I then can't help myself and have to clean up every little, like this kind of thing is probably not that big of an issue and probably not visible under without this like large magnification, but still bothers me. So I'm still gonna clean that up. All right. I think it looks fine for now. I'm gonna have to then color the rest of it. I'm a little bit worried that if I do too many different colors, it's gonna look, instead of just vibrant and colorful, a little bit gaudy. So I'm gonna have to add at least a few more subtle, more basic colors to kind of anchor the image a little bit. And I hope that works out. I hope that has the, I guess, desired effect. I really like the I guess hair color is what I called it in the layers. The kind of very extreme teal. Let's see, where does this stop? This is a fairly wide one. I think it goes almost like definitely behind here. Obviously not this foreground sash or tentacle. I haven't figured that out yet. But it goes fairly far in the back. Obviously there are a lot of elements here in the back, so I'm just gonna try to not to cover too many of them. Just like this. I think it's starting to look very cute. Again, I haven't quite familiar. I'm still missing the previous version a little bit. The version where it was very rough with the brush strokes, and I'm kind of sad that we don't have that anymore. That's kind of gone. Because looking at other things I did years ago, I was always very precise with the brush strokes, and that was almost always to my detriment, because it almost always meant that things looked a little too clean for my skill level, I guess. Like if you are really good at drawing, then obviously you can do really clean images and they will look incredible. But if you are not that familiar with it, if the, I guess, background skills aren't there, then if you try to do something really clean, it will just mean that every other mistake, every like anatomical mistake or every mistake in line work or coloring just goes up so much more. And it is so annoying, and then you go back to everything and redraw things, and it never really looks all that great, because I never really had and still have all the experience needed to make something look really, really good. Like there's a reason I focus a lot on faces for now, because that's what I'm most familiar with, and everything else, oh boy, I do not know how to draw a body. Oh, that looks a little bit weird. Currently those bubbles there look a little bit like holes, and it looks almost, how to say, almost biological, but most of this looks almost completely biological. But it looks very, I guess, insecty. There is an area in one of the Ghibli movies. Actually, I don't know if it's a Ghibli movie. The Nausicaa or Nausicaa, where, I mean, there are a lot of insects in that movie, and a lot of them look a little bit unsettling, but they also have these random holes and random, I don't know. That movie gave me a little bit of, I don't know, it was almost close to body horror in the way that the people, at least I think the main character kind of started having elements of those insects, having like gills or something similar to that. That was always very scary to me, but I watched that when I was fairly young. So it's been a long time. I might also be confusing like a... oh, I'm definitely confusing things. I think. Because while Nausicaa is a Ghibli movie, I think what I'm thinking of is something entirely different. I think what I'm thinking of is an actual manga. Probably one that my mom had lying around that I read and then was utterly disturbed by. A similar thing happened to... Again, I don't know what the correct name for it is. I think it's called something Gen. Not Watashi no Gen, but something like Gen's First Steps, then translated. Which is a horrific retelling of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings from the perspective of someone who lived through that. And like it's made up in a manga setting, so it's at least it appears very aimed towards children, but it is brutal. Like I remember sitting on the ground and in the reading room, a bunch of my dad's music LPs were stored, and reading that book, and I had nightmares for weeks from like the, obviously in the area where then the bombs fell. That part is very graphic in the books, and so there's a lot of, yeah, again, body horror and like basically melting bodies, and that is extremely disturbing and not something a small child should read. Oh yeah, I quite like this right now. I'm gonna add at least one more sash of that color. I don't know which one yet. I'm gonna go somewhere here. I'm thinking that maybe I know that for shadowing and coloring I will have to spend a lot of time, and I might not in the end decide that I like it. So I might leave it just with these flat colors for a while, just to look at it, get used to it, and then figure out how I want to shadow it in the end. I'm just gonna have to feel that one out. All right. Obviously these, I want to call it flesh colored drapes, but beige drapes add a lot of normalcy, normal vibes into this, because presumably it's definitely not a color that otherwise would show up in this very mantis shrimpy color scheme. So I hope that they're kind of grounding the entire thing. Maybe I'll make all of them kind of a, maybe not beigey shade, but a very much toned down color. So I'm gonna try something here with the one here in the back, like everything but the halo. The halo is its own thing. I realized that I didn't really fix the coloring on that one. So I'm gonna have to do that probably right after I color this here, because it's now starting to bug me extremely hard. Oh yeah. I think, oh yeah, I think that will look really good. It kind of, like with these flying sashes, it reminds me a little bit of one of the bosses in Expedition 33. The one with the, I guess, flowing clothing and sashes like that. I thought that was a really cool design. Like something that's at the same time very beautiful, but also very scary. And I think managing to do both of them, maybe not scary, but maybe very disturbing. And I think managing to do both of them is a really good feat. This one will probably not look all that scary. Hopefully somewhat beautiful. At least that's what I'm aiming for. Again, the goal for this is to be my pause screen. Currently my pause screen and opening and ending screen. Currently my screen in that regard is... oh no. I'm in front of the forehead tentacles. I'll quickly put myself behind those. Yeah, currently mine is, I guess, based on one of my earlier drawings, but then generated with that in mind. And I'm not a big fan of that in general. I think normally, obviously, this area here, you would want the background showing through. Obviously in front of the dark red, not behind it, like this. But I think here I need to at least imply that there is actually, that the sash just doesn't, that the face isn't a 2D flat in front of a sash and the background, but I need to actually fill it in with a lot more other stuff. So I'm gonna leave that area open for now and then maybe revisit it a little bit later. I think the sash down here I'm gonna color in the same, in this case then very vibrant color again of the other sashes. I'm gonna make a new layer for that, sashes 2, so that I don't have to worry too much about overlapping the beige one right here, just like this. Ooh, yeah. And this looks really nice. Oh, I'm getting out of reach of my drawing tablet again. I think the entire reach of my drawing tablet is kind of from this area of the screen down to... oh, I'm behind my camera, but kind of here. I cannot go further to the left. So, oh god, that's... whenever something requires me to go past that, I have to then move the entire screen. Which is a little bit unfortunate. It would be nicer, I think, to look at if I'm not changing or moving screens that much. I guess it's what I'll have to deal with. Alright. Just a nice finishing touch here. And then I can focus on the other sashes, because there are so many of them. I think it was probably a very good idea to include them, because in the end I will have to color all of this. And if I have... oh. If I have too many elements, then I'm going to just take forever coloring this. And especially for my, I guess, first real project, I shouldn't take something that takes ages to do. I'm not really sure what next color I should use here. I have the kind of reddish beige, the greenish beige. I have the blue and the purple in the background, but those are kind of just there. So maybe I could go for another blue. I don't want to immediately repeat the green. I guess a very yellowy one could work. I'm gonna try that on one of the smaller ones, I guess. Maybe one of the background ones here. This one hasn't gotten a lot of attention. Yeah, I think this color works fine. Nothing to write home about, but it is a fine color. I think with this, yeah, kind of more grounded element, I can then go a little bit more crazy with the color of everything else, with the tentacles and all of that. And that should be then very nice to look at. Ooh. Probably should be, I want to avoid overlapping in the other sashes area. The one that is below the other one. Just to make sure that I'm not doing any massive overlap. Okay, now in looking at this, obviously there could have been something nice in front of this halo. Like if one of those sashes was lying over it, that might have looked nice. But I also don't want to keep returning to earlier stages and then redo things and change things that I previously thought were fine. I think then I'm going to lose myself very quickly in a loop of trying to make things perfect again, and that is very much something that I would like to avoid. I'm just doing tiny fixes here. I think with the halo, I think this area is actually the area that was perfectly fine previously. I think I still redid it when I redid everything, so that everything would be in at least mostly the same style. But obviously that now means that... Oh no. Oh no. I'm drawing in front of this poor little, I guess, bulb, tentacle. Oh. I want to make kind of sure that the line here is clean. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm a bit too lazy to change the size of my eraser all the time. So just keep going over stuff that I then need to erase again. Like up here there's a little bit visible. I think the rest is fine. I keep realizing in looking at these that obviously I did a lot of continuity, I don't want to say errors, but there are definitely things here that kind of start vanishing somewhere. Like this sash, I don't know why it doesn't continue below there. Oh, I'm still in the halo. I don't want to be there. I want to be in the sashes area. I want to be right around here. I think this one is also getting the yellowish color. Luckily this layer is not in front of the tentacles, so I don't have to worry about this. Don't have to worry about drawing over them. I don't know how I feel about the kind of loopy tentacles instead of just the bulbous end. I think it might look a little bit weird, especially since it becomes thicker and then wane out being thin again. But yeah, I think in general I think this works really well with the beige and beige adjacently colored sashes. Very enjoyable. And I mean, in the end, as long as this thing is enjoyable to look at, I have achieved everything I wanted to. It can be enjoyable by looking a bit silly, or it can be enjoyable by looking really pretty. I would obviously prefer the later one, since I would really like to draw something that I'm really proud of. But if that doesn't work, I guess it already looks plenty pretty. I think I succeeded in that. Alright, now maybe for a bit more, green, maybe pinkish, but I want a little bit of a darker, fainter pink. And I'm gonna go for this one here. This is wild because this color looks like it tastes of artificial berries. Like the moment I started using it, I was like, that's the flavor of a yogurt that is artificially berry flavored. Which is crazy because I haven't eaten yogurts in years because I can't have dairy. And I think the plant-based ones are kind of meh. Or at least I haven't found a good artificial berry flavored plant-based yogurt. Ooh, okay. I think this looks really pretty. I think I'm not gonna add any additional line work, at least for now. I'm just gonna keep working with the different colors. I think this berry flavor is a bit too much. I'm just gonna continue using it though. Just for this one here. Oops. Almost dropped my pen there. Dropping the Benjamin. Ooh, very nice. Although I think I don't need to say ooh, very nice every time I find something very nice. I feel a little bit like a toddler. I'm like, ooh, doesn't this look pretty? Doesn't this look nice? Ooh. Right. I keep thinking about that, I guess, Atomic Bomb comic. It's still wild to me that my parents just let me read that when I was clearly not in an age to digest it. I think I even, like, there's an element in there where there are two siblings. I think it's two brothers, and then the brother dies. Oh no, I think it's a lot more. Just two brothers, but two of the main protagonists are brothers, and one of the brothers gets crushed under the family home and dies. And it is extremely sad. I think that part was especially hard for me because I have a brother, and so losing my brother would be probably the hardest thing I can think of. Oh. Yeah. That one very much hit home when I read that. And I mean, there are plenty of other, it has no shortage of things being said. There are many, many, many people that die in that book, because there are also many, many people that died in real life in those bombings. And even though I think it ends at least with a somewhat hopeful message, and I mean, the author was alive to then write those manga, so at least someone survived. But yeah, it is very much about losing many, many, many people. It reminds me also a lot of Grave of the Fireflies, which is a very, very good movie that I recommend nobody watches when they are even in a... You don't want to watch it when you're in a good mood, because it is extremely sad. You also don't really want to watch it when you're in a bad mood, because that's going to be really bad. It's kind of a movie you want to watch when you're... when you really want to experience a great movie that is just horrible to watch. I think there are a lot of... like, I grew up reading a lot of random manga that my mother had, because she grew up in Japan, and so I was very used to reading manga that were almost exclusively not targeted towards children. I think that's a... I mean, the Western world also has that with adult rated comics that then tackle extremely serious themes. I guess graphic novels. There are plenty of really good graphic novels. But I think with, especially with manga, it's kind of this one thematic group that then tackles or is targeted to all kind of different groups of people. And you... I wanted to say you couldn't imagine something like that in the West, but I think you probably can. You have the Saturday morning newspaper comics that are the exact same style that is targeted towards... the exact same style that is used when targeting children, that is then used to target a lot more adult people with, I guess, questionable humor. I think most of the Saturday morning newspaper or Saturday newspaper comics are of at best mediocre quality. But I guess if you have to roll out a banger every week as an artist over years, then you're probably at some point kind of burnt out and go towards the low-hanging fruit. And like, let's make poop jokes. I think Garfield is one of... Oh no. I accidentally landed on a beige that's incredibly close to the background. I kind of have to feel where this one starts and ends. I think Garfield was to go back to that, one of those weekly or even daily cartoons. That one is kind of renowned for having a very, I guess, plain humor. Like endearing, sure, if you have grown up with it or know it a lot, but it is definitely not the height of comedy. Oh no, this one even continues down here. Oh, at least it looks like it should. Oh yeah, this is going to be incredibly hard to make out. I have no idea if I went far over the line or not here, because I just can barely distinguish it from the background. Okay, I am gonna look for a very different color. Okay, I'm just basically using the color wheel without changing the oh, maybe this is too dark. Without changing the black and white, I'm just going for a different color in the same kind of beige tone. But maybe this is too much like the rest of the head is gonna be. I think I'm gonna go back to the beige I'm seeing to the left or to the right side here. And I'm just gonna do work with that a little bit more. Oh, no. All right. Yeah, after the last stream, I very much I was very eager to continue this, very eager to clean up all the line work and make it look uniform at least again. I don't know if it necessarily looks better or worse, but at least it looks like it's one complete drawing and not, I guess, two spliced together ones. All right. Oh no. Oh, I think I'm in sashes too. That means I'm overlapping the ones below here. Like obviously I've kind of hidden the layers from you because I don't think having like the Photoshop UI is actually all that beautiful. But I have to make very sure that I stay within my boundaries. That I'm kind of I'm at least roughly staying on the right layer. Because if I don't, it's gonna end up being extremely frustrating if I need to piece something together again, or if I want to change a specific color, or if I want to oh no. Yeah, this is a layer over another layer where I can kind of archaeologically dig out what mistake I did in the color above that, on the layer above that. But yeah, obviously I don't want to have all those layers that are then overlapping, and that if I do everything on the same layer, I'm gonna end up being in a situation where then I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to remove this one element? And right now I can be like, okay, wouldn't it be nice to remove the forehead tentacles? And I do this, and I have them removed, and I can recolor them if I want to. I think I'm gonna go back to the hair, because there were a few pieces that I still found that I want to do hair colored. There's this one here, this tiny, there's also one on the other side, basically I kind of haven't cut my hair in a while, and now it starts getting curly towards the lower end. I guess we're putting that on this character. I almost want to use this as a D&D character. Like you have a I guess it would be a nice merfolk, like a merfolk wizard that you could use. That would be I guess this would be the power stance where the sky starts darkening, and then gravity, at least the gravity with the hair, starts going away and the hair starts kind of wildly floating in the air, and then presumably they would be wearing some form of robes, and then the different fabrics of that robe would start floating around, and that could kind of be this situation. Although now that I look at it, it looks just like someone is going down in the water with a lot of yeah, fabric floating and everything being very slowly dragged down. Although I guess don't knock it until you've used this as a D&D character. I think when I... Oh no, I'm in hair. I want to go to sashes again. When I set up the channel, I also tried to reset up the YouTube, and I had used my YouTube again 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago at the latest, to do a little bit of game stuff and to do a little bit of other stuff, and part of that was also like an announcement of a D&D campaign that was then streamed for at least a good bit. And I kind of just privated everything. I went through all of them and was like, nope, all of these need to be private. I don't currently know how I feel about them, but I won't delete them, because obviously at some point I was proud enough of them to put them out, but I'm gonna put them into timeout for the time being, I guess. And I mean, nobody needs an announcement video for a D&D campaign that ended, or I guess fell apart 15 to like 10 to 15 years ago. So yeah, right now it's very clean. It is exclusively live stream VODs. I thought about doing edits. I thought about doing like editing these things a little bit or doing highlights, but I don't think I really have the explosive personality to do a lot of highlight stuff. I just don't think I have all that many highlights in my streams. I just like to hang out. I'm not attempting to get the foggy reactions. Let's see. Yeah, that's Leia. Although now that I see it, I am gonna fix this sash, just to make sure that this lighter area isn't visible here. Oh no, and now I immediately lost the color I was trying to use. Okay, I'm gonna shrink my brush a little bit again. I think 50 is the most it should be right now. And I'm gonna just color the sash back here. What the heck are you? Okay, that was a sash fragment, but sometimes I stumble across, I guess, color fragments from something. I'm like, when did I draw this? Why is there like a white line here? Did I ever add white lines here? Alright, mostly okay. Yeah, I think this kind of fabric-y color that this very large sash is, that needs to go up at least a little bit more. I don't know where it needs to show up though. I'm starting to get kind of confused by what the heck I drew in the background here. There's definitely nothing all too coherent. I'm just gonna color this one beige again. And there are definitely areas where I would assume something else to continue and then it doesn't, and that's a little bit confusing. But I think being too coherent is probably a little bit boring as well. I'm just gonna try to... Oh, does this look good? I don't think it does. I think the bubble in general looks fine, but I think it does need at least a little bit, like a very faint... I'm gonna make a new layer called bubble lines, and I'm gonna try something here. I don't know if this works all that well, but I think this should have probably a line like this. No, I think this is too strong. I think what I don't want the distortion effect, since I think that's a little bit too extreme. I'm just gonna do a very faint line in the background that kind of just roughly shows what's behind there. It's gonna be a bit of work doing that for then every other bubble. Yeah, this is fine, I think. Might have to do that for some of the more center bubbles here. Put a line behind that is a little bit... I don't want to say transparent, but a little bit fainter. But I think as a bubble this works. Like I have extensively looked at bubbles in the meantime, and I've kind of looked at, oh, what kind of bubble do? How can you, how do you make anime bubbles? How do you like color those? And I think the solution that I came to is it doesn't really fit with the style that I'm using here. Like I don't want to do something super intricate when the rest of it is very normal. Like there are these very... I feel like they show up a lot in maybe cheaper cheaper games for as artwork, where you have if you have a bubble, it is very like very extremely oh, is this already large enough? Is this already... Oh, I guess it is. Like a super textured, super colorful bubble. And I always feel like, yeah, it's like if the bubble doesn't fit, if the rest of the game or if the rest of the artwork isn't just as intricate and just as colorful and like if all of the reflexes are working really well, then why is the bubble this colorful? Why is the bubble this extremely intricate? And I think I'm fine having my bubbles a little bit more basic. There's some areas here, like this leafy thing in the top left, where I'm really unsure what to do with it. Like I don't know if this is a leaf that's kind of just there in the image, or if this is something that needs to be also sash colored and textured. And I think the problem is that this is also one of the ones that just kind of ends, just kind of stops where it merges in, like it doesn't continue behind here. And I think with the not continuation of stuff, I need to maybe actually do go back into the line work and add just a little bit of background area, a little bit of things happening in the background. I don't know if I'm probably not going to do that on stream, because that feels like it would be very tedious. Not that this isn't tedious, what I'm currently doing. I'm definitely not streaming quality entertainment here. I'm just streaming because I don't want to do this on my own. But yeah, maybe I can do the rest of it while watching something, aber no, that's it. That's basically it. While watching something. I was gonna say playing something, but I can't really play anything with a drawing like this. Or at least I wouldn't know what to play. I play in a lot of boring games, but at least they need a few mouse clicks, a few interactions. I can just tap out and be like, yeah, okay, you keep going. I guess once you reach endgame in Pal World, or once you have your satisfactory factory or factorial factory running, then you're probably safe to tab out for a few hours. But at that point also, why would you keep the game running? Oh, I'm gonna try something with, I guess, the next bubble I find. Instead of having... Oh, hey there. Oh, in German. Ich zeichne seit... Ich habe das letzte Mal vor 10 Jahren gezeichnet. Und ja, jetzt im Moment habe ich damit wieder mal angefangen. Aber ja, also es ist nichts, was ich sehr regelmäßig mache. Es macht mir super Spaß jetzt, aber es ist ein bisschen komisch, wieder an einem Punkt einzusteigen, wo ich das Gefühl habe, dass ich etwas sehr viel besser machen könnte, sehr viel komplexer machen könnte, und dann probiere ich etwas aus, und ich meine, ich habe Glück mit diesem Bild hier, dass es etwas ist, was gut funktioniert und was gut aussieht und was ich gerne mag, aber es ist auf jeden Fall ich hatte die Sorge, dass ich, als ich angefangen habe, dass ich etwas male, was ich überhaupt nicht mag und was ich ja, nicht besonders gut finde. Jetzt bin ich an einem Punkt, wo ich das hier richtig gerne mag und mich richtig darauf freue, weiter zu malen. Aber ja, das letzte Mal habe ich, wie gesagt, gemalt vor 10 Jahren. Auch nicht besonders viel, sondern immer sehr darauf bedacht, dass das, was ich mache, möglichst perfekt aussieht. Und das heißt dann, dass ich 50, 60 Stunden an einer Sache gesessen habe. Und dann immer sehr enttäuscht war, wenn es nicht perfekt war. Und es war natürlich nie perfekt. Also saß ich dann immer sehr lange an etwas, was dann am Ende, womit ich dann am Ende nicht zufrieden war. Es gibt ein paar Sachen. Ich habe hier dieses Dokument mit Beispielsachen. Natürlich oben links ist nichts, was ich selber gemacht habe, oben rechts auch nicht. In der Mitte ist auch nur ein Orientierungsbild für Blasen. Aber unten rechts und links sind Sachen, die ich gemacht habe, auf die ich sehr stolz war. Jetzt, ja. Wünschte ich könnte immer noch das malen oder das zeichnen oder das genauso replizieren in dem Artstyle. Aber ich mache jetzt erstmal etwas, wo ich versuche, möglichst wenig wegzuradieren, möglichst wenig zu sagen, dass ich Elemente ganz wegmache oder ganz von vorne anfange. Und ja, ich versuche mal, was dabei rauskommt. I hope that answered the question. Unless that was the question of how long I'm drawing at the moment, or how long I've been drawing for in the stream, to which the answer would be I have genuinely no idea, because I don't know where there's a timer, and I don't know when I started, and I don't have a clock. At least I can read my Twitch chat. I think for the entirety of the last stream I had I was trying to ban a chatter for advertising viewbotting, and I could not figure out for the life of me where that ban button was. And then I opened the context window and had the profile very large in the center of my screen, and couldn't figure out how to fucking close it. Although I'm a bit curious, how did I write in my description that I'm German? Or is it just my extremely strong accent that gives that away? Like, I do talk German obviously in my job, but not all that much in private. But I think my accent is probably there to stay, considering I've only really started trying to use English in a professional setting, or at least without an accent, for, once again, maybe 10 years. Everything seems to be maybe 10 years. I think a lot of things kind of started and also stopped when I went to uni from school. That's when I, like at school I was horrendously bad in English. And I would, I think I had 2 legit failing grades in my time at school, and both of them were in English. Not final failing grades, but I guess exam failing grades. But I was very bad at English. And only after that I discovered that I really like watching shows in English, and I really like yeah, reading stuff in English, basically consuming media in English. I think the German media scene is, or at least the movie scene, is like shockingly bad. Like, there are some gems, very, very, very few gems, but in general I think the German media scene is not all that great. Damn. Okay, my accent is really this extreme. That's wild. Like, I usually notice that when I listen to myself, that I'm just the most German sounding. I'm speaking the most German sounding English that I've ever heard. But I guess if I don't have a job where I can speak English on a regular basis, I'm just never gonna get away from that accent. It's gonna be something that stays with me forever. Which is probably fine. When my dad was interviewing a lot, he occasionally interviewed people in English, and there was this one pretty famous artist in New York that he interviewed, and that interview needed to be transcribed, and my dad didn't have a lot of time, so I also like listened to it and tried to figure out what the fuck that guy was saying, and it was extremely rough because he was something Eastern European, Czech maybe, or something in that area, and it just sounded like he didn't give a shit what he sounded like. Like, it sounded like he had absolutely no attempt to speak without an accent. He was just slinging out words hoping that they would kind of be understandable. And my dad had so much trouble trying to understand him that like, I tried to help, but obviously I at that point was very bad at English, and also I guess I've always been very bad at accents, so with those two things combined, I was of no big help whatsoever. But yeah, maybe I should put it in my description so people know why I sound like I'm, I don't know, talking with a potato in my mouth. I hope outside of that you're enjoying the drawing. Are you German and just staying up very late, or are you just very competent at speaking German? Let me figure out. I kind of want these wispy notes, especially this one, to actually be a little bit wispy, but I think it's gonna be more reasonable if I just treat them all as sashes. I'm gonna just color this one for now. I might have to add some more detail in with a little bit of line work. Oh. Are you living in Germany, I guess, permanently, or are you here for university or something else? I'm desperately trying to think of something Polish I can say, but I'm just drawing a blank. I think I can say more things in Chinese or Japanese. I can even say hello, my name is Johan in Korean, but not at all in... I just don't know any Polish. Even though it should be so much closer. I think I've never even been to Poland. I must have been. At least on the journey through. But at least I have not... I don't know. I don't consciously... I haven't consciously been there. I do really like the Polish eye on the supermarket though. There are really interesting things you can cook with that I really like. And usually, I guess, Poland and other okay, more than 40 years is 14 years, that's plenty of time then. Have you moved here with your parents, or were you just, I don't know, did you move here for a different reason? I guess it depends a lot on how old you are. If you're like 16, then being here for 14 years is probably for a very different reason than if you're moved in for the money. For the money being a job, or for the money being, I don't know, something else. Jesus Christ. Okay, 19, that is most of your life outside of Poland. That is fine then. Obviously, not that it wouldn't be fine otherwise, but... Oh god, now I'm trying to concentrate on both that conversation and on trying to figure out what to color next. So let me first figure out what to color next, which is going to be this one here. So 19 means that you... Have you finished school recently, or are you already finished for a while, or third option, are you still at school? I think I was probably around... I don't know if I finished school at exactly 18, or if I was already... No, I definitely wasn't 19 at the time. I turned 19 in university. I'm gonna use this color a bit more, I think, even though... Oh no, that's not the purple tasting one. This one is the purple tasting color. Ooh. I'm completely blanking on what the translation for Wirtschaftsschule is. I guess business school? I've been recently looking at jobs a little bit, just because my company is... There are a lot of moving things in my company, and it might be nice to have a stable option. Yeah, I guess economy school and business school both work. I guess business school might be then closer to something school of business, which then is an entirely different thing. The economy school. Actually, what exactly is a Wirtschaftsschule? That a special, I guess, type of school, or is that something between a trade school and I don't know, Stadtteilschule? I think I'm seeing another piece of a strand of hair here. So let me just add this one in. Oh no. I forgot that the hair is very much a layer above many other layers. I have to be careful to not encroach into many other territories here. But yeah, obviously between when I went to school or when I started school and when I ended school and then when I've gone to university, there have been a lot of changes in what different school types there are. I think the Haupt- and Realschule were kind of abolished while I was at school, and then Stadtteilschule I know is the major thing now, but I'm also not keeping up with it enough to know if that is the major only. I think it's Stadtteilschule and Gymnasien that I'm familiar with school-wise. Is it more of a Ausbildung, or is it more of a, I guess, specialized type of school? And I guess with that in mind, are you looking for jobs in business or in? I guess I would need to know what a Wirtschaftsschule is. Like I know that to continue the point that I kind of lost about 5 minutes ago. Currently, the job market seems extremely unfun to be on. I've heard from many other people that they have been applying for months or years. We just had someone start in our company. Okay, like a Realschule. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. I kind of had to teach myself how to do taxes, and I ended up using an assistance program for that. I know that my parents have absolutely no idea how to do taxes. They have been with their own tax help for many decades, for longer than I'm alive. And I know that if they were dropped from that, they would be completely helpless. They would have absolutely no idea what to do. Does it also, does it have a focus on speaking English, the Wirtschaftsschule, or is it more of a, I guess not that? E-commerce is also interesting to do that in school. I think it's probably also almost like it sounds a lot more focused than like a normal school. A lot more, I guess you have to kind of already know that you want to go into that type of job, but if you do, and if, oh no, I'm on the wrong layer. If you do know that you want to go into that type of, I guess, job, then it seems really, no, yeah. I was thinking of a different kind of school that was close to where I grew up, where the main language for any lesson, any topic would be English. So even in sports, they would only speak English, the teachers at least. And that was obviously extremely focused on... It wasn't an international school, mind you. It was very much... Oh no. It was very much, this is a German school, but we only speak English. So it was a little bit weird in that regard. So do you know that you want to do a business then? Or do you want to... are you just applying for general stuff or for an Ausbildung or something similar? I mean, from what I've heard, even Ausbildung is like extremely competitive right now. And even though people are clamoring on about how, oh, nobody wants to do an Ausbildung, we can't fill our quotas, they also seem to not hire, or at least want to hire for with extremely bad conditions. So yeah, we had someone start with us that had been looking for a job for close to a year, I think. And I think currently that is not the exception and more of the rule. So yeah, I don't envy you if you're currently looking for a job. It does seem like it's extremely competitive right now and not a very fun area to be in. I was lucky that when I started looking, I was kind of in the, like immediately after COVID, when everybody kind of started to rehire, that's when I looked for a job. So I think I got kind of lucky in that, but I know that that didn't stay for long. And currently we're in a kind of shit situation like that. Let's see. I think I'm kind of running out of things in the background that should even be there. Like I'm figuring out a few hair lines that I can still add, but I think I'm just figuring out that there's not enough busy work to do in the background. I might have to add in a little bit more later. I see. Yeah, I think when I started drawing mentally, I was in a extremely mid space. That kind of also helped me just focus on something else a lot. Yeah, I think currently it's very rough. Looking for a job, even like part-time jobs. Like when I looked at job boards recently for a friend of mine, because they're looking for a job and I was trying to figure something out to help them, it was, I don't know, like most of them were looking for extremely specialized jobs of extremely specialized people with a very specific experience, which obviously is silly, because if everybody else is looking for basically IT engineers or system admins or something like that, a lot of the jobs I've seen are exactly that and nothing else. If everybody's looking for that, you're probably not going to get really good ones, and the pay for at least the jobs I've seen was mid at best. So yeah, in your experience, has there been, I assume you also I guess I don't want to say enjoying the current market conditions, that sounds a little bit very rude, but I assume you're also noticing that it's currently, I don't know, a bit tough a bit tough to make a dark understatement. I mean, then again, I don't know about tile-side jobs, because are you if you're saying you're doing a lot with drawing or with art, are you also trying, like, what area are you looking in? Just general tile-side job, whatever, or are you looking for a specific field, like in, I don't know, in a marketing office or something like that, where maybe drawing or art skills could at least be somewhat relevant? Does this look good? I think it might look a little dark. But I also kind of like it. I think I will probably stop fairly soon, because I need to figure out what else to do. Ooh. From what I've heard, gastronomy seems like a very tough area to work in, because you're working with, like, obviously it depends a lot if you're front of house or back of house. If you're front of house, you're customer facing, which you have to really like, because customer facing jobs are not very fun. And if you're back of house, you're working with horrendous hours. So yeah, gastronomy is definitely not my kind of thing. I definitely wouldn't be good at it. I think I prefer jobs where I have to interact a little bit with people, but not too much. I'm lucky that my job allows me to like interact and consult with people on occasion, but it's very much a case of like 80 to 90% working on my own, and then the rest interacting with clients. Oh no. Okay, there are like 2 more things here in the background that I could color. And I think after that, oh no, 3 more. There's this big sash in the background, the top of the background. I think we're gonna use, make that berry colored again. Ooh. Drawing for Riot Games. Okay, give me a second. Sasha's 3. I mean, somewhat distant. A friend of mine used to work for Riot Games, and we would occasionally play games together. And he always obviously had a company account, so he would be. It would be very weird to like be in a queue with someone who was then had a Riot account and would get very much attention from other people. But yeah, like as a if you want to actually go for them, like in an art department, that is an extremely tough or hard job to get. Like, do you already have a larger portfolio of things you've been drawing, or are you just starting out putting stuff together? I mean, luckily that person worked in a entirely different field of Riot Games, more in like the event organization area, and that is, I mean, also not great to work in. But it's very much not the art department that then always, I presume, has to be afraid of getting canned at every opportunity, because large businesses really like to sack their art departments when things are not looking great. I've recently been with the K-pop Demon Hunter show coming out. I was kind of thinking about why that kind of show doesn't exist for something like Riot Games, where they have had KDA for like almost 5 or 10, or maybe not 10 years, but for close to 5 years. So it seems kind of like a natural fit for them. And yeah, art is really expensive for companies, and they really don't like paying for it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I am far worse at drawing, or not far worse, but I have very little experience, and the experience I have is mostly from really trying to draw something passable when I was in my early 20s, which is about 10 years back. But yeah, my recommendation is, if you want to go for a job at least a very big company, you probably have to have a really solid portfolio. And even then, I think usually they like to hire people that are that already have experience. Obviously, it's a very shitty situation, because when you want to get hired by a bigger company, they want to hire someone who basically has already done the work. They're like, hey, we want you to do I don't know, let's say programming. Hey, we want you to do programming, and we're looking for someone to do our website. If you're fresh out of university, you are kind of like, oh, I am an IT student. I kind of know how to do IT. Please hire me. But what the company actually wants is someone who's coming in and saying, hello, you need to have a website. I have done a website. I have programmed a website, and it's going fine. Here's the website. What else do you need? And I think companies really, really like someone who's actually has already done the job. So if you're looking for, I guess, that kind of work, it might be interesting to just almost basically do an internship at a similar smaller company, and just build up, just hard focus on building up your portfolio. Like if you can show them work that you've done for, I don't know, a game, even if it's a mobile game. Like I don't know, I'm trying to think of game companies in Germany, and there's Daedalic, so which has the, I guess, dubious accolades of having brought out Gollum. I think Germany has a few larger game companies, but then they're also mainly in simulation games. So it's definitely not an easy path to choose, but I think if you are very serious about it, you first need to focus hard on building up a portfolio and building up a really impressive portfolio, and then just look for, basically at first work for whoever's giving you any work, even on the side, and then slowly expanding from there. I know that when I started with Photoshop, I kind of tried yeah, that's true. I'm thinking in like chess terms, where there are like 6-year-old grandmasters. And it's like, oh no, it's if you're 7-8 years old and you're not a grandmaster yet, it is way too late, and you can basically give up. And with drawing, there are obviously a lot of very young people who are extremely good at drawing, who have been drawing for a long time. But I think there's always a difference in then chasing that passion into adulthood. And unfortunately, the jobs for artists, especially with AI coming up, are very rare. I think I can't remember which company it was, but a lot of the larger game companies are really trying to have as few actual artists and as many as much AI in their service as possible, so that they don't have to pay people, which obviously is a fucked situation. But yeah, if you're really looking to get a job in an area like that, you need it's kind of the circle of you need to have experience to get jobs, and to get jobs you need to have experience, and you can't get the experience without having a job, and you can't get the job without having the experience. It kind of favors people who basically got lucky and got lucky getting experience. I don't know if I like this being gold. I think it should be silver. I'm going to figure that out at a later point. Let's see. Let's see from afar what I've been doing in the past half an hour to an hour. I think it looks a little bit unfinished, but I think yeah, in general this looks fine. I think I have to basically add a little bit more meat to the background. I guess at least the center part. I'm gonna make a new layer real quick so that I can show things off. All right. So I think. Oh, am I not drawing? Oh, I'm erasing currently. Great. I think this area needs more meat. Outside of that, I think it's fine. And then on the side there should be then something like thank you for watching. And I think for now I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy with how this turned out. So yeah, I'm gonna head off. I'm gonna go to bed. I have to work semi-early tomorrow, and it's already a bit too late for that. Mad Nux, I wish you the best of luck. I really hope you find someone who gives you the chance to like show your skills or to develop your skills. And I think if you try a lot and get a little bit lucky, then you can absolutely this is probably one of the hardest times to get work as an artist, because it is because AI is just almost destroying the business. But yeah, I really hope it works out for you. I wish you the best of luck, and have a good night, and thank you for watching. And thank you for the very active conversation. Goodbye. Bye bye. Yeah.